Hello, Clive Tompkins reporting for the Finance News Network. Xcelerator Premium Income Limited is an unlisted investment company that uses options to complement stock picking and deliver greater income. Joining us to discuss its annual results and offer of new shares is Managing Director and Co-founder Andy Semple. Andy, welcome to FNN. The last 12 months has been one of the most difficult on record despite the bounce. How did the company perform and how many sleepless nights did you have?
Well, thanks for having me, Clive. We performed quite well compared to our benchmarks that we go against. We're actually down about 10% for the financial year 2009. However, we did pay our shareholders a dividend yield around about 8%, but we did comfortably beat the ASX 200 by around about 16%. Sleepless nights, I suppose, yes, I did have a few. I'm glad I don't have any hair on my head anymore because I'm sure I would have lost a lot of it, but we're happy with our performance.
Tell us about the investment company. Why did you choose to operate it as an investment company rather than under the more usual unit trust structure?
We purposely looked at setting up an under company structure, Clive, because of two key reasons: the safety aspect and the efficiency aspect. What I mean by the safety aspect, safety in terms of the investor. As a disclosing entity, as an unlisted public company, we have to report twice a year and we're audited. And also from our perspective as the manager, because it's a company, once we've raised the particular funds, we're then closed in. So we can then focus on the task of hand of investing on behalf of the shareholder and not having to worry about redemptions. And if we saw anything from the GFC was when certain funds were wanting to be redeemed, they actually couldn't operate because of their inflexibility there. Whereas in a company structure and being closed in, we were fine in that regard. On the efficiency side of things, our mandate's to pay a regular investment on the quarterly basis, and ultimately that will be franked. And with franking credits, a company structure can over time accrue those franking credits. So as time progresses, we'll be able to have more and more of our yields fully franked, whereas if it was a trust, for example, every year you just have to pass them out.
So how long has it been going? How much is under management and who invested at the outset?
We've been going since July 2008. Currently assets under management is about $1.4 million, and initial seed investors were myself, the other directors of the investment manager, plus some selected seed initial clients who seeded the investment company.
Are there plans to list?
That's definitely in our business plan to list. I couldn't give you a defined time frame. I can definitely tell you it won't be in 2010, but ultimately, yes, we'd like to have Xcelerator Premium Income Limited to become a listed investment company. So that's definitely on our plans to happen in due course.
Andy, so where has the use of options proven itself over the last 12 months?
Options are the key for Xcelerator Premium Income Limited. In order for us to generate the type of income returns that we're after for our shareholders, we're basically harvesting the premium from the options market. With the GFC, volatility was a lot higher, so hence options premiums were just out of this world, literally. And fortunately, with our techniques that we have in our stock selection, we're able to sort of harvest the low-hanging fruit there, and in turn that was filtered through to our shareholders in the form of a consistent dividend throughout that period.
Has it added more or less volatility to the fund?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, it put less volatility into Xcelerator Premium Income Limited. Basically, we're about 75, maybe to 80% of the volatility, say, of the ASX 200 when we do our monthly comparisons. So by constantly writing options against the portfolio and also using the options for hedging purposes as well, we were able to significantly decrease the volatility.
And how do you measure this?
Every month we calculate obviously the NTA for the company, and then we compare that on a base against the ASX 200, the ASX 50. We also compare it against the listed investment company Djerriwarrh, and also a listed exchange-traded fund, the Aurora Buy Right Fund. So we have a mix of sort of benchmarks to look upon, and the final one we have would be that we benchmark our income that we're wanting to aim for against the RBA cash rate plus 5%.
You're currently offering new shares. What's the minimum subscription and what are investors buying?
The minimum subscription is 10,000 shares at 86 cents per share. The present NTA is around about 95 cents per share, so it represents a pretty good deal to new investors.
And being an unlisted investment company, how often do you value the units?
We value the units actually on a daily basis, but we report that valuation at the end of the month for existing shareholders, and we post that information on the website.
Okay, so what are your fees?
2% plus GST, and there's also a performance-based fee on the basis we beat our hurdle.
Andy, you've been in broking a number of years, specialising in options. What have you learnt about funds management that will give investors confidence in you and your team?
Experience is important, Clive. The fact that we've actually spent the time seeing different cycles come and go and then able to adapt an appropriate strategy that ensures we maximise the return but at the same time minimise the risk to existing shareholders.
Last question, Andy, where do you see the market in 6 months from now, given the big run-up?
Good question, Clive. To be the short answer, I don't know. But what I do know is we're currently experiencing an uptrend, and within that uptrend, I'm prepared to go with it. However, I'm mindful that things can change, so therefore I've got my stop losses in place should the trend change.
Andy Semple, thanks for introducing Xcelerator Premium Income Limited. Good luck with the next quarter and the new issue.
Thanks, Clive, and thanks for having me.